Hey everyone, I wanted to tell you a story about Cartel. The dog. In January 2010, some of my family friends in Mississippi posted on Facebook about a small litter of unexpected beagle puppies their dog had had. Looking at these pictures, I'm sure you can understand why Christine and I fell in love so quickly, and we knew we had to have him. At 7 weeks old, the boy who'd be named Cartel took a car, to a plane, to a shuttle, to a T, to a bus, to come to his new home. He was exhausted, and we were in love. If you're not familiar with the name Cartel, it's from a band that we both enjoyed. And when he was about 1.5, we were actually able to get a picture with the lead singer Will Pugh holding him. In late 2022, I was able to meet Will again and asked him to pretend he was holding a dog so I could try to recreate the photo 11 years later. Here's a quick Photoshop hack job for you. Cartel was the cutest pup and we were absolutely smitten. A little bit less when he'd wake up every 3 hours on the dot and need to go outside, but he was worth it. Despite being a beagle mix, over the years you'd seldom hear him howl, but when he did, we'd grab our phones as quickly as possible to try to record the sweet song of his people. Living in the city and surrounded by friends, Cartel was quickly the most popular beagle in Brighton. Though, don't think that sweet face can't get into some mischief in once in a while. One time he ripped open a bag of his Aunt Lily's old clothes and tore apart some very specific items. Cartel quickly became a +1 at the parties and brought all of his energy to the room. He'd even try to flirt with Dakota from time to time. Other times he'd play drunk driver on Wii with the crew. But when the parties would end, Cartel would make sure to keep the company comfortable. Cartel received a PhD in snuggles, graduating high honors from Cuddle College. One of his typical places was between my legs, but sometimes I'd get lucky enough to have him in my arms. I love sleep just as much as Cartel does, so sometimes he'd take joke pictures with his aunts and uncles, like this one where Aunt Nicole is wearing the coveted Taylor Swift or Die shirt that I'd lost in a bet. But sometimes Cartel was the subject of my jokes.
Hey, Cartel, do you mind if I borrow your, Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I'm so sorry.
Cartel has always been down for an adventure, and would excitedly hop in the car, or even on the tee with me. When he was a couple years old, the family adventure landed in Virginia Beach, where we got to take in more of the sun and more of the sand, as well as the occasional brewery. With the expansion of breweries over the years, Cartel has quickly become a wonderful craft beer companion, as he was with any occasion, like when he went to listen to Paramore play in the city last summer with me. Cartel grew up in a love-hate relationship with his brother, Cody the cat. Sometimes they wrestled. They were quite the pair. When he was 5, Fiji joined the family. At first, Cartel kept his distance, especially as Fiji pumped out 11 puppies shortly after her entrance. That and the fact that she wasn't house-trained and would shit on everything. He was a little less than amused. But after a few years, especially once the adventure brought him back to Massachusetts, they became quite a brother-sister combo. Fiji is even more of a cuddler than Cartel, so she would often steal attention away from him. But Cartel was always the loyal son. I'll never forget one time that Fiji slithered out of her harness and out of my car, and I had to chase her around the neighborhood. When I cornered her and got her back to the car, I realized I'd never shut the door to keep Cartel from jumping out. But the Goodest Boy was sitting in the back seat with a smile on his face, as if to say, I'm the favorite, aren't I? I frequently told Cartel that he was my favorite. He was my first, and has always held a special place in my heart. As time went on, my mom got Jack, who spends a lot of time with Cartel. He's a little less amused by the young guy at times, but Cartel's been a patient old man. However, in addition to the terror that Jack often brings him, Cartel's had a rough couple of years, and his vets have gathered a laundry list of diagnoses and medications. In late January of this year, I was told that Cartel had 1 to 2 months to go based on a lung tumor and his already present heart condition. I was devastated. But day after day, Cartel trucked along. I was praying for him to get to see the warm weather again. And we finally have been. Taking walks around the bay, by the beach, strolling through Stoddard's Park, or just sitting on my porch. Cartel's made a lot of friends over the years. He's gotten the biggest hugs, the best treats. I'm so grateful that he's had so much love in his 14+ years in this world. In my world. But the conditions have caught up, and it's time for Cartel to go. I used to say I'd burn that so-called Rainbow Bridge down so you could never leave. But I know it's selfish to make you stay. I hope you get to see Cody on the other side. I hope they have all the toys, especially those donuts that you love so much. I hope they have the biggest sticks and the best treats. You deserve them. I hope you get all the boops on that big old nose. I hope they have the best blankets, especially like that one that your Aunt Jamie made that you love. Thank you for all the kisses, despite how stinky your breath was, and the laughs we got from the time you kissed me a little too much when I passed out and your mom caught it on camera. Thank you for putting up with the costumes and random attire. You've always been a good sport. Thank you for being the one that could be trusted off leash. And thank you for keeping tabs on me while I number two'd. I don't know how I'll poop without you. Thank you for being my best friend. For 14 years of absolute joy. For being the goodest boy. Most of the time. Thank you for being my favorite part of coming home. Thank you for being my ride or die. If they have FaceTime on the other side, please give us a call. I'm going to miss you more than I could ever tell you. I love you, Cartel.